And drank all night, acted all alright, had no need to fight tonight. Fucked and drank all night, acted all alright, had no need to fight tonight.
So basically, what is employability? So employability is an attribute of a person which makes him qualified to become employable by a firm, or rather create employability for some other persons. Average unemployment rate in India is 4.11%, and might this not sound alarming, but it is. So the thing is that in 2018, where the world is facing crises like global warming, lack of water, fresh of course, and some places having extreme weather changes, it's going to be very difficult in the future for a person to survive in a job, because the expenses of each and every living is going to skyrocket. So preparing for the future might be a difficult task, but if you prepare it right now, won't be that tough. So I'm going to share with you the key factors which an average Indian lacks that he should overcome to become employable. And here I'm going to focus on both the rural India and the urban India. So before wasting any time, moving on. Hi, I'm SAKSHAM. I'm from Chandigarh and this is my new friend Sayyam. मेरे हिसाब से हमारे अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट की जड़ शुरू हो जाती है हमारे एजुकेशन सिस्टम 8th, 9th, 10th से. हम 8th में आते हैं तो हमारे दोस्त हमारे साथ बैठते हैं, बातें करते हैं कि आगे कहाँ जाना है, आगे कहाँ नहीं जाना. तो बच्चों के पास सिर्फ उनके दोस्त होते हैं या उनके पेरेंट्स होते हैं बात करने के लिए. पेरेंट्स भी उसी दौर से गुजरे हैं जिस दौर से हम गुजर रहे हैं कि कोई पूछने को नहीं है, कोई बताने को नहीं है. तो इस टाइम पे काउंसलर्स होने बहुत ज़रूरी हैं, क्योंकि अगर बच्चे को पता नहीं होगा आगे करना क्या है तो वो ज़रूर कहीं ना कहीं हाथ पैर मारे और कहीं ना कहीं घुस जाएगा. 11th करेगा, 12th करेगा, आगे जाएगा, नौकरी नहीं मिलेगी, इंटरेस्ट था नहीं, अच्छा किया नहीं. मेरे भाई के साथ भी ऐसा हुआ. मेडिकल में गया 2 महीने, फिर उसके बाद नॉन मेडिकल में शिफ्ट हुआ. फ़ायदा क्या हुआ? कुछ भी नहीं, 2 महीने वेस्ट. अगर कुछ बच्चे ऐसे भी होते हैं जिनमें हिम्मत नहीं होती कि वो 2 महीने बाद भी चेंज कर सके, उनके 2 साल लगे, ख़राब आगे की ज़िंदगी. तो मेरे हिसाब से 8th, 9th, 10th में काउंसलिंग होनी बहुत ज़रूरी है. हर बच्चे को बताया जाए कि आगे सब्जेक्ट कैसे कैसे डिवाइड होंगे एंड क्या क्या आपको ऑप्शंस लेने चाहिए, क्या क्या नहीं लेने चाहिए, ताकि ये इतना हसल बसल ना हो. एंड सारे ये प्रोमिनेंट फैक्टर है कि भीड़ चाल बहुत है हमारे यहाँ पे. इंजीनियरिंग में बीटेक एक जाता है, दूसरा भी जाता है. क्यों? लोग पैकेज देखते हैं, एक जाता है, दूसरा जाता है, तीसरा जाता है, एंड आगे सबको पैकेज मिल नहीं पाता. लोग इतने हैं, इनटेक इतना ज़्यादा है, क्यों रखेंगे बाकी सबको? तो बेटर ये है कि हमारे 8th, 9th, 10th में काउंसलिंग हो. थैंक यू. So what you just saw right now is just one side of a coin, but every coin has 2 sides. So although I'm not able to show you the interview of the second person I took, but let me give you a brief. So as you can see, I'm not in Delhi. I am currently in a resort in UK. So Uttarakhand, by the way. So here I am, and I was just talking to a person who also happens to be the manager of the fun zone, the place where you go and play. So he also happens to be a local. So I asked him the same question: what do you think is the solution to employability? He gave me a shocking answer. Although you might seem this a bit deserted, but that's the truth. He told me that until the children turn 25 or 26, let's say 30, their parents are able to fulfill most of their demands that they have. But until 30, they don't have any zeal to study, which makes them very difficult to be employed and be settled in a good place. What they do for the first 30 years of their life practically waste it and spend the time with their friends and intoxicating and of course all the other things. So, although in the urban India, when it was the problem of this education system, in the rural India, it's the people who lack. So, I think you understood the problem by now. So, what's the solution for it? Let's look forward to it. So, the solution, it's a bit multi-layered, you see, so we might have to pay a bit focus. But before that, let's shift the location. So, if we want to cure our problem, we need to find some solutions for it. So, the basic root of this problem is our education system. So, what are the reforms that need to be made? Let me tell you, this is a completely original method. I have taken inspirations from a lot of best education systems of the world and then come up with it. So do think out of it. So I think the education system that we have till class 8th is pretty good. But the context of some chapters in some subjects is a bit outdated. So that must be resolved. When we move towards class 9, we should be given a buffer period. A buffer period. And that buffer period would be around 4, 5 or 6 months. In this 6 months, I want that the students who have graduated from class 8 and moving towards class 9 be given exposure of the world. Most fields that they can grab in those 6 months. Talking to professionals, talking to counselors, talking to each and everyone they can get their hands on, so they can get what the world is actually about rather than being stuck in the books for the next 4 years. So basically, before understanding the benefits of the buffer period, you need to understand what the buffer period is. So buffer period lasted 6 months. So this buffer period is divided into two parts, an initial stage and an advanced stage. Both of them lasts 3 months. In the first initial stage, the students will be exposed to all the industries through industrial visit, talking to professionals, as I told you. And the next 3 months are basically dedicated towards specifically judging a student's EQ, IQ and subject related things, towards understanding the capacity and capability of the student to take that subject in his next class. When the student moves towards class 9th, he has a choice of choosing only 4 subjects, where 2 subjects will be major, which will be taking most of his time, and 2 minors, which will be taking minimum of his time. So one major consists of the core field that he want to go in. For example, communications. So he would take a subject in communications and another subject, let's say public relations. And last but not the least, the 2 minors need to be consist of 1 language and 1 other subject of the student's choice. These subjects, which are basically focused towards the interest of the student, helps him to study his major in his student life at concentration of 100%. This not only improves the interest of the student but also increases his efficiency to do his studies. At the end of class 10th, when the student is moving towards his high school, class 11th and 12th, he would have to dedicate 50% of his time dedicated towards studying theories in classes and the next 50% dedicated towards industrial visits, industrial projects, collaborating with people. Not like we do it today, but a bit advanced of it. Because this is what the world demands from them right now. The same will continue even in class 12th. And they will not only be assessed by their marks scored in their papers, but also be judged on how they perform on their industrial visits. So, now the time comes. What is the benefit of buffer period? You will see that in college. But before that, So now when the child is transforming from a child to an adult, the student is basically moving towards his college life, and this is where the true fruit of the buffer period will be shown. When the student has to choose his subjects in college, he will be clearly focused, he would have what he wants to do with his life, and what are the specific characteristics that he needs to work upon to get there. And as in school there are 50% of time dedicated towards specifically towards practical work, college will be even better, where 60% will be dedicated towards industrial visits, practical works, and the rest towards theory. The first year of the students should be dedicated towards social entrepreneurship, the second year towards industrial entrepreneurship, and the third should be dedicated where the students have to make something new, do a research or so. Basically putting students in a situation where they have to read outside of the books. And this is where it all lies. When the student starts learning, reading outside the books, that is when he becomes independent. And when he becomes independent, the industry becomes dependable on him. And that, my friend, ensures employability. But before that, some provisions. So the provisions that need to be taken care of before making this policy work out. First, the government should include that the internship that the students will be doing either in college or in their school must be included in CSR, corporate social responsibility. Because if the students are working, the corporates must also be willing for it. And that's how we can make this system work out. As all fingers of our hand are not the same, that's why they all serve different purpose. The same should be with the professions. No profession should be ranked above one another, because if they all will be equal, you can't work out. The teachers must be trained in such a way that there is enough answers to quench the curiosity of the students. And the last but not the least, there are specific provisions that I cannot actually think of, but those provisions should be made in such a manner that the students, teachers, schools, and even the government is willing to follow the system. Because where there is a will, there is a way.